The palace of glass and silver stood silent beneath the violet sky of Illyria Prime. For 12 long years, the halls of the royal citadel had known only grief. Queen Ariseth sat upon the throne that overlooked the endless city below. The towering windows behind her reflected the shimmering lights of millions of alien homes, yet none of it warmed her heart. Because 12 years ago, the light of her world had vanished. Her daughter, Princess Lyra, lost during a diplomatic journey beyond the outer spiral. The official report said pirates. Others whispered about rogue empires or hidden predators lurking in the void. The search fleets had scoured thousands of star systems. Nothing. No wreckage. No signals. No survivors. Just silence. To the galaxy, the princess was dead. But Queen Ariseth had never allowed the mourning rites to be completed. Somewhere in her heart, she believed Lyra still lived. The queen's advisor, Commander Thalrin, approached quietly across the polished floor. "Your Majesty," he said gently, lowering his head, "the council requests your presence." Ariseth did not move. "Another meeting about alliances?" she asked softly. "Yes. They believe war is coming. They believe weakness invites war." Ariseth closed her eyes. Once, her daughter had filled this palace with laughter and curiosity. Lyra had been fascinated by the galaxy beyond Illyria, by strange species, distant cultures, and unexplored stars. She had wanted peace with everyone. Now, the council prepared fleets. The queen rose slowly. "Very well." Before she could leave the throne chamber, the massive doors at the end of the hall burst open. Guards rushed in. Behind them walked a tall, unfamiliar figure. A human. Humans were still relatively new to the interstellar stage. A young species from a small blue planet called Earth. They were curious, stubborn, and unpredictable. The alien council had debated them for years. Some called them promising allies. Others called them dangerously impulsive. But never before had a human walked directly into the royal palace without permission. The guards aimed their weapons. Commander Thalrin stepped forward sharply. "Identify yourself immediately." The human raised both hands slowly. "I'm not here to fight," he said calmly. His voice carried a strange mixture of exhaustion and determination. "My name is Daniel Carter." Queen Ariseth studied him carefully. His clothes were worn from travel. His face carried scars and the hardened expression of someone who had survived far too much. "What do you want, human?" the queen asked. Daniel hesitated. Then he stepped aside and gently took the hand of a small figure standing behind him. The moment the child stepped into the light, the entire room froze. The girl had silver blue skin, glowing violet eyes, and delicate crown-like markings across her forehead. Every guard dropped to one knee instantly. Commander Thalrin's weapon slipped from his hands. His voice trembled. "Impossible." The girl looked around the palace with wide eyes. Then she whispered softly, "Mother?" The queen's breath stopped. Princess Lyra had come home. For a moment, no one moved. The queen descended the steps of her throne slowly, as if afraid the vision might vanish. The child ran forward. "Mother!" Ariseth dropped to her knees and wrapped her arms around the girl, pulling her close. 12 years of grief shattered in an instant. She touched Lyra's face, her hair, her shoulders, searching for proof that this was real. "My star," the queen whispered. Lyra laughed softly. "I told them you'd recognize me." Behind them, the entire court stood in stunned silence. Commander Thalrin finally turned toward the human. "How?" he demanded. Daniel scratched the back of his neck. "It's a long story." The queen stood and faced him. Her voice carried both royal authority and overwhelming emotion. "You will tell it." Daniel sat at the center of the council chamber, while dozens of alien leaders stared at him. He looked deeply uncomfortable. Lyra sat beside the queen, happily eating a bowl of glowing fruit as if she had never been gone. Daniel cleared his throat. Okay, so 12 years ago, I was working as a cargo pilot on the Outer Rim. Smuggling? One council member asked suspiciously. Daniel smiled awkwardly. Let's call it flexible trading. Some of the council groaned. Humans. Always complicated. Daniel continued. My ship was passing through the Carthos belt when I picked up a distress signal. Commander Thalrin leaned forward. The princess's shuttle. Yeah, Daniel said. At the time I didn't know who she was. I just saw a damaged escape pod drifting through pirate territory. He paused. And pirates were already closing in. 12 years earlier, Daniel Carter had been a nobody pilot with a barely functional ship called the Wayward Sun. When his scanners picked up the escape pod, he had two choices: ignore it or investigate. Most smugglers would have ignored it. Daniel didn't. When he opened the pod, he found a terrified alien child clutching a broken communicator. And seconds later, pirate ships appeared. Daniel laughed nervously while recalling it. Those guys were serious trouble. Blood Raiders, Commander Thalrin said darkly. Daniel nodded. Yeah, I figured that out real quick. His ship wasn't built for combat, so he did the only thing he could. He ran. For 6 straight hours, pirates chased him through asteroid fields, radiation storms, and gravitational anomalies. Daniel grinned slightly. Turns out humans are really stubborn when someone smaller than them needs help. Lyra beamed proudly. You flew like a maniac. Thank you, Daniel said. That wasn't a compliment, she added. The council chamber remained silent. Commander Thalrin spoke again. You should have delivered her to the nearest Alliance outpost. Daniel's smile faded. I tried. What happened? Daniel's eyes darkened. The pirates followed us. Every time Daniel tried to approach a station, the pirates attacked. Ships were destroyed. People died. So Daniel made a decision. He vanished. For the next 12 years, he hid at the far edges of explored space, moving constantly, never staying in one place long enough for the pirates to track them. Lyra grew up aboard his ship. She learned human languages, human jokes, human cooking. Daniel rubbed the back of his neck. She really likes pizza. The queen blinked. Pizza? Lyra nodded enthusiastically. It's amazing. The court stared in confusion. Daniel continued. Anyway, eventually, I realized the pirates weren't just chasing us. The room grew tense. They were hunting her specifically. Commander Thalrin's eyes widened. Why? Daniel leaned forward. Because someone hired them. The council erupted into whispers. Queen Arisetha's voice cut through the noise. Explain. Daniel nodded. A few months ago, I captured one of the pirate ships chasing us. You captured them? A council member said skeptically. Daniel shrugged. They made the mistake of boarding my ship. Several alien generals exchanged uneasy glances. Humans were known for being dangerous in close quarters. What did they tell you? The queen asked. Daniel looked around the chamber carefully. Someone inside the Alliance paid them to eliminate the princess. The room exploded into chaos. Accusations flew across the chamber. Commander Thalrin slammed his fist on the table. Silence. The queen's eyes burned with fury. Who? Daniel reached into his jacket and placed a small data crystal on the table. I recorded the pirate captain's confession. The crystal activated. A hologram appeared. The pirate spoke clearly. The contract came from Counselor Virex. Gasps echoed across the chamber. Virex stood slowly from his seat. His face twisted with rage. You believe a criminal over a council member? Daniel shrugged. Normally no. He tapped the crystal again. More recordings appeared. Financial transfers. Encrypted messages. Coordinates. Every piece of evidence pointed to the same truth. Virex had arranged the princess's death. Guards surrounded the traitorous counselor instantly. Virex snarled, "You fools! Without my actions, the empire would collapse." The queen stepped forward. "Explain." Virex laughed bitterly. "Your daughter believed in peace. She wanted alliances with weak species like humans." His gaze shifted toward Daniel. "You would have handed our strength to outsiders." Queen Arisetha's voice turned cold as ice. "My daughter believed in unity." "Unity is weakness," Virex shouted. The guards dragged him away. The chamber fell silent. The queen turned toward Daniel. "You protected my daughter from a conspiracy that threatened the empire." Daniel shrugged. "Honestly, I just wanted to keep her safe." Lyra grabbed his arm. "He also taught me how to fix engines." "That's important," Daniel said defensively. The queen studied the human carefully. "You sacrificed 12 years of your life protecting someone you did not know." Daniel looked embarrassed. "Well, by year 2 she was basically family." Lyra smiled. "You're still family." The queen's voice softened. "You returned my daughter to me." Daniel stood. "I promised her I would." He hesitated. "Now that she's safe, I should probably go." Lyra's eyes widened. "What?" Daniel rubbed his neck, awkwardly. "Your real life is here." The queen stepped down from the throne again. "Human." Daniel looked up. "You are not leaving." His eyes widened. "Oh, did I break a law?" The queen smiled faintly. "No," she placed a hand on his shoulder. "You will remain as a royal protector." The court gasped. Commander Thalrin stared in shock. "You're appointing a human to the royal guard?" Queen Ariseth nodded calmly. "He protected the princess longer than any fleet." Lyra hugged Daniel tightly. "See? I told you she'd keep you." Daniel sighed. "Well, I guess that means I need to learn royal etiquette." Commander Thalrin crossed his arms. "That will take years." Daniel grinned. "Good thing I'm stubborn." The queen looked out across the chamber. "For 12 years I mourned a lost daughter." She turned toward Daniel. "And today a human walked into my palace and returned her." Her voice echoed across the hall. "Let it be known across the galaxy." She placed a ceremonial crest into Daniel's hand. "That humanity has earned the gratitude of Illyria." Lyra whispered happily. "Also pizza nights." The queen paused. Then she smiled. "Yes." The court stared in confusion as the princess pulled her mother toward the dining hall. Daniel followed behind them, shaking his head. After 12 years of running from pirates across the galaxy, he had accidentally become part of an alien royal family. And somehow, that felt exactly right.